What up, bosses? Your man MBR gonna be bringing you your first peek at Monolith, the new Paragon map. Gone is Agora. It is no more. Well, not actually yet. You guys have still got another day's game time before it gets completely wiped. Maybe it might make a comeback at some point, some guest appearance, special guest referee. But nonetheless, it is gone. This is going to be the new map replacing it. So I've been playing it for the last week. I was lucky to get invited by Epic to play on the new map along with some other YouTubers. Unfortunately, everyone's like in bed because it's really late at the moment, so I've got these bots who are going to help me show you around the new map. So this is bots. The purpose of this video is to give you an insight of how the new sort of game mechanics, everything's changed. I think you should forget what you know about Paragon and look at it in a completely different way. I've got some short videos up on the channel. I've finally been able to actually talk about it. I've all been under NDA for it. Also, to later on today, you'll be able to watch me play for the UK team, as I've actually been playing on this, and I'm going to be part of the UK team facing up against France and then potentially Germany or Spain in the final, which should be a lot of fun. So we're going to be playing on Twin Blast. This is actually the new Twin Blast. You guys may have noticed he has been remastered. There is no new hero for this month. It's a rework on Twin Blast, and we'll get the next one going on next week. So one of the big things that changed is travel mode. Travel mode has gone, which kind of sucks, you know. Oh yeah, travel mode's gone. Well, that really does suck. But in its place, we have jump pads, or one jump pad, or there's two jump pads actually, two or potentially three. So basically, these are like a little boost which help you get to lane quicker, which is just really nice. You do lose them once you lose a tier 2. You will actually lose them. So you want to keep that in mind. You want those tier 2s for alive as long as possible. So basically, this is our jungle. All the jungle has changed the way the jungle works now. Basically, as this goes on, before, like if you left a camp, it would go from like 1, 2, 3. Basically, it adds a minion on every time, which is really cool. No longer do you have like a red or blue in your jungle. You now have this green buff here, and this is the only buff in your jungle bar the river buffs, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This green buff gives you like a shield and it explodes. Great for like dueling. Really nice, but like I say, oh, we have a fucking bot jungling in Nicholas camps. I've never actually seen a bot jungle. These bots are unlucky, bro. These bots are getting smart. I've never seen a bot jungle. That's amazing. So basically, this is our sort of right-hand side jungle. Really, this is where you want to start off when you are jungling. Here is an amber link. So, like again, I do talk about these more in details in my other short videos I have up on my channel. Basically, amber link. There is no more harvesters every time you last hit, and especially junglers put more link in here. The bots are OP. Our bots can do. Basically, it goes in here. So instead of having harvesters, it's kind of the same thing. You don't have to empty it. It empties like every 2 minutes, but it does give the chance that if you can evade into their jungle and hit it twice, you can actually steal amber out of it, which is really important. We should be denying it. See, this camp's now got 3 there, and we'll come over to the right-hand side and we're gonna have a look at that quickly. So we'll take my first ability here. Also, let's go kill this real bad man. I'm like, bruh. We've got my 3 strike tokens. Glorious. The fact that I have every card unlocked, we get every card. It's pretty sweet. So here's now Q. You can do that 3 times in a row. You can do it 3 times. Good job. You even give me a good job. These bots, man. Oh, these bots are something else, right? I've never seen this before. These bots are. Oh, has he got away? Has he done me? Oh, 360 no scope. No way. He's done me. He's done me. God damn, it was your fault, newbie face. So you can see on the outside of the map, things are very different. We'll come have a little look over here. What's going on here? Like I said, I do actually have a video looking at the map a little bit different. I think some textures are going to be added in. There seems to be like a few textures missing at the moment. It's probably not as clean as I think, as it was quite a small patch that we had on. But obviously, you bosses are going to experience it come tomorrow, which is super cool. But for you guys that can't wait, we can check it out here. This is the gold buff right now. He is really strong. You know, you really do need a buddy. So the idea now is you have your duo lane in the gold buff side. So normally, like say on most Mobas, if you were laning, you'd have your AD carry and support versus AD carry support. Whilst on this, it doesn't actually work that way. What they've tried to put, or Paragon have set out here, they want to be a little bit different, I guess. You now have your AD carry and support versus solo laner, and the idea is with this gold buff you can get your AD carry really far ahead. On the other side of the map they don't actually have that. What they have is the raptor camp, which originally gave you black buff. This no longer actually gives you black buff anymore now. This is what I'm saying, everything you think you know, you don't know. So this actually, it no longer gives you black buff anymore, and instead it gives you 1000 CXP per raptor, because they can potentially be free. As I say, there's a lot has changed. Like this game is completely different to what you'd probably imagine it. You know, there's the way things work. Like for example, harvest keys no longer give you a key because there's no harvesters to have anymore. That's something I want to keep in mind. Are we gonna finish it? He's done me. It's done me. Minions are pretty similar. They are still OP, so you don't want to get on the wrong side of them. Like in some sense, I think there's some stuff I haven't liked too much. It'd be interesting to see once I actually start putting a lot more game time in, as you guys as well, on to see how it sort of goes. But I do find games are a bit too quick. They basically have made it so that cooldowns, you can no longer get CDR in your items now. Nothing you build CDR. So you have it. Basically, the idea is your moves are a lot shorter cooldown than in the past. But that does mean they're mana heavy. So for example, like if you play a Gideon, if you Q at the start, his Q will do a crap load of damage. Don't get me wrong about that, but it does drain your mana, and mana pots are really kind of not that effective. So it's something you want to keep in mind is actually putting mana into your builds as well. Something I've certainly noticed when I've been playing against some diamonds. Like I've been playing against some real high elo players, so it's kind of nice to actually go bots, because bots. These bots, man, they're on point. So again, yeah, this is going to be your off lane where you want your carry to farm up, take that gold buff as often as possible. You're not going to be able to do it straight away, but you need your support to tank it. You don't want to take too much damage. But one thing you want to keep in mind is something that we've been noting, especially like at the higher elo play, and it's something you always kind of want to be looking at the diamonds, because they're the ones who you really want to be aspiring to, really, I guess, because they know what they're up to, and it's only going to make you better by sort of following their steps. They don't actually take the turret, because by taking the turret, you punish it. So if you say I'm a solo laner here and you have 2 people there, you can't actually punish it. They can just slowly last it. They can just go auto attack. And if you're a melee champ, you're like, well, dude, man, what can I do? I can't come over here because they're don me. Potentially the jungler comes through here, and you're like, wow, shit, son. So by taking this turret, the waves are going to push and he can safely farm, and also means you overextend. Similar to how I say on League why I don't like taking the turret with Nasus, because it means you overextend. So this river basically runs away around all the whole map. We have Prime. Prime still works exactly the same before. He's pretty damn hard to kill. You do need your group of bots here. There's no dunking feature. That hasn't been brought back, sadly. This is the new thing here, okay, basically. So this is the river buff. As I mentioned before, there's only a green buff in your jungle. What you do kind of have on your side in some sense is you have a river buff on either side. So you've got one here, and then you can see like the red dot in the corner. I'm trying to point at it, but you guys can't see that. So basically this spawns at 3 minutes, I believe. Like I said, I covered this more in detail in my actual jungle video. At the moment, like, they die in like 3 hits, like super quick. I don't know if it's actually meant to die that quickly. Whoa, that one spawned instantly as well. I didn't know that was actually going to happen. I've never seen it happen. So basically it spawns, and then you kill it, and every 2 minutes a new one spawns. I've never seen one instantly spawn. This is really valuable. Like, you get mana regen from it, and the buffs are different. So before I said, the black buff's not there, or the red buff, this is it. So we just got blue buff here. This one's fucking OP. So we have blue, red, black, and this purple one, which is new. So we kill this guy. Basically, we then become invisible. I'm now invisible for around 40 seconds, which seems like this should be nerfed to fuck. I believe if a ward will spot you out, but I'm like, yo, look, I'm invisible. It's like, bro, dude. So as soon as we attack, we will come out. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm invisible. Like, how OP is that? So it's something you really want to be contesting, denying. Did you get a good amount of mana regen? Whoa, he's shooting a minion. So that didn't actually even break me out of stealth right there. So yeah, it's something you want to keep in mind. Like, it's pretty damn OP, right? Like, especially if you're a jungler, you come in lane. Now, I'm really their house, so if we do anything, we probably get my ass kicked. But wards will spot you, so you want to keep that in mind as well. But yeah, really interesting. And then again, they do have one over on this side. This is the dragons or raptors here. Again, they are very scary. Like, they are vicious. Like, I probably won't even want to attack it because we would insta die. So here's the red buff. Again, standardly how the red buff works. And as I say, normally it takes 2 minutes. I don't know why it's, I'm not sure, because no one's taken them. During, like, what I have found is playing with the diamonds, like, there's been some, like, lower elo players we've been playing with. There's been a variety of people invited. But I've certainly found with the diamonds, it's really contested. You want to be warding that area as a mid laner. Your jungler goes for one and you want to contest the other. It's really valuable buff, especially if, you can get that shadow plane one, and you can then, just be ganking for free. So we'll quickly jump an item in, and then we'll go have a look at what's going on. Again, we can use the jump pads. Like I say, this always kind of reminds me, it's a little bit different to what I actually played on when I was actually at the American event. It does remind me of sort of Unreal Tournament, this whole sort of big thing here with like the clouds. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the new map. I think it's super cool, has small areas. Again, I'd say this was a 2 camp before. Now, because no one's attacked them, it's turned into 5, which I think is a lot better than, for example, it's saying, being like, if it had a bonus 1 or bonus 2, bonus 3, or up to 3. So basically, you add all the camps there, which is really cool. Again, a few things are a lot buggy still at the moment, you know, a lot of improvements. I'm sure maybe the version you guys play on is going to be a bit more cleaner, but I imagine there's still going to be bugs. As you know, I feel they've obviously wanted to try and get out as quick as possible because, you know, with newer people joining Paragon here and there, you know, it's a lot for people to take in. You know, the maps, like the whole game has like literally changed. So they kind of, I guess, they weren't too sure on how things would go when they released it in. Oh, it was actually when it got released into open beta. They had announced, or we knew about the new map because I actually got to play on it because I was at the open beta launch party. So they knew they had, you know, they had it in the mind that they were going to change the map. But, you know, maybe should they have delayed the actual launch of, or into beta? I don't know. But that's one of the things with beta, you know, the game does change. So this is a bit different to his ult now. You can see it's like a freaking Gatling gun instead of like the 5 rockets actually that fire out. Still has his dash. We're gonna die. We died. We kill him though. We killed him. Cheers. Good job, bro. Good job. It still has the replay system, you know, the whole mechanics actually work similar. There is actually kind of a couple of different chests which aren't available to use at the moment, which you can actually select from, which would be kind of interesting to see how that goes. No crafting just yet. I'm not sure when the estimated time of arrival for that would be, or the ETA if you want to shorten it down. But I think the map is absolutely gorgeous. I really did enjoy the old map. I think the old map was on point, but it was too big, and that was what was causing like the biggest issue. I do find like games on here with an organized team. I have played a couple of games that have gone on for like 50 minutes, mainly because I don't think people are finishing, and I guess that was always the issue on the old map. But certainly on this, you know, you can win games in about 20 to 25 minutes. You're getting a few kills, you take prime, and then you can stomp their base easily enough, you know, with a short distance. And the recalls, the death recalls, or the death times are still so long. You know, that's one of the issues with the game, or I guess that's what they sort of wanted to try and speed up things. They made the death times longer, so it is very punishing when you die. We've got the red buff there, so that won't spawn for another 2 minutes now. And yeah, I think it's really cool. It's kind of cool. I do think the invisible buff is like a bit OP though, so we'll see how that. We'll see how that kind of pans out. We're in trouble. Oh god. Who actually has it? Get that grenade out, son. Beans. They're gone. It's done. It's done with shadow flame. So again, like I say, you go through here and you go. Which is really good for ganking. It's something you want to keep in mind. You know, where I've been in like mid lane, I've been playing probably a lot of mid, like with Gideon and Howitzer. I've certainly found when I've kind of been like, you really want to like people because they can gank you so quickly now. You know, they come out of nowhere, and it's again getting something you're not really used to. Because when, for example, when you're playing on the older map, people I guess they could kind of jump down. But it's a lot easier. Like you're just, if I'm farming up mid here, right? I'm just here, and generally this is the way where the wave is. You know, you're here. Especially as, say, a champion that doesn't have blink. If you're like a count you're here. So I'm sure they could come through here and here, but then they can actually come through here, or fucking here, or they can even come from above here, which is actually what I'll show you right now. This is where another blink pad is really good for sort of actually jungling. So you basically come up here, and you can even go down here, like, or you can go, whee! And that stays like that the whole game. Really cool. Again, I feel the jungle is something they haven't actually worked on. Like, I really hope that it is changed in the future, is the jungle camps. I really don't like how they look, how like the whole white minion thing, like on the green buff. Yeah, I hope it's something that's going to actually be changed into the future. But again, you know, it's beta and it's little things like that which aren't necessarily important. And like once they start adding all the voice lines and animations to the characters, which I can't wait, you know, that's going to really make the game a lot more. It adds that sort of more sort of element to the game. I don't know if element's the right word. Texture, yes, no, texture. I don't know. Something. It just adds something to the game. But yeah, I think it's cool. You know, I'm not really sure how I think the jungle. I do like it. But I did really used to enjoy the old jungle, how you kind of underground and everything, and it's a completely different rework. I like how that's I do really like the idea of the all the camps like this. I think that's really cool, for sure. And the new Twin Blast rework feels really strong. And you know, junglers like at the moment, like Several really do well on this map. So we'll take the green buff and you can kind of see what that's all about. Like here, like I don't feel like these two white camps are protecting the green buff. I feel that. You know, so basically what happens with this green buff, we get a shield, and yeah, it lasts for a minute. So when you're dueling with someone, you will basically want them to pop the shield. By popping the shield, you do like some damage to them. Again, like really, I can't explain how important this is picking up these buffs. You know, you get increased movement speed here, but it also gives mana regen. Look how quickly my mana is actually going up here, which is really nice. So the blue buff's not really like actually used to be. It doesn't give you the cooldown anymore. It just gives you that bonus move. Like, look at that movement speed we've actually just got off of that. It's pretty damn dope. Obviously, you know, it's really nice because obviously without travel mode anymore, it's really nice to have it, or any kind of additional sort of advantage you can get like that is really cool. Are you gonna get it? Shot. Oh, the tubes. The prediction. I tell you these bots, man. Smart, yo. Oh. Smart. Alright, we'll push the stage, get a feel for what's going on. I know what this like big ball is about. That's like one thing obviously as well at the moment where they haven't actually really talked to what they haven't said anything about the lore. I think they've dropped some few hints about here, but nothing really at all. So it'd be interesting to kind of know what was going on. But it does really remind me of this kind of like Unreal Tournament sort of theme, for sure. But obviously, it kind of makes sense because Epic Games did make Unreal Tournament. Would you believe that? That game, oh man, I love that game. I love that game. I hope that, you know, so far it's really give you a kind of insight on how the field the map is. Well, let's try and take this turret. You can get to see what their base actually are. Pretty similar to what our base actually is. Might be a bit overkill, to be honest. Turrets. I think the range of the turrets are a little bit smaller, I feel. Like before, for a ranger, you'd have to really get in there. And there's something I didn't really like, you know. Especially as for example, if you're a melee champion, you have to really go this thing far to get onto the turret. And it's not really all that clear to know when, you know, if someone's behind you and that, especially with this like third-person view, you know, on Lee, you can kind of turn around and look behind you and also look on the mini-map. So I kind of like the fact that the turret range has been reduced. For sure. Alright, we should be able to push this in. Oh, we got another challenge, Jesus Christ, funny. Oh god. Where do you keep coming from? He just runs. I bet the freaking other guy's gonna be up now, isn't he? Just going around in circles. We're gonna take the river buff quickly. That's actually the invisible one again. So here is Prime. You can actually see Prime looks exactly the same as before. I would really like Prime. I didn't really like the look of Prime, to be honest. I never liked when he was originally like that. I kind of like him maybe come out of this or something. It would be pretty cool. Obviously, it's a different design before. I had the Paragon logo, which you don't actually have anymore. So, again, you know, I imagine the whole map itself is going to change a lot over the course of time. So, keep that in mind. But you can see the river buff there, right? Look at that mana regen we get off of it. Especially as a mid laner, how huge that is. It's really, really nice. Like half the mana pool back then, which we're really struggling. Plus, we're fucking invisible, so I'm just going to be like, yo, you know, you don't even know. And I'm just like, surprise, motherfucker! So cool. I mean, it's freaking scary, especially when you get like a rampage. I found to be really strong in this map. Like several pretty freaking dope, especially with like the 5-man camps. You know, before if you were farming with a camp, okay, maybe you get 2 minions, but now you know, potentially if you play it right and you're strong enough, or you line up the minions alright, you can get 5 minions. I mean, 5 stacks instantly. You know? That shit's crazy. Real crazy. So, yeah, Severog is definitely really strong at the moment. Seen some Feng Maos looking pretty beastly. So again, we now move on to tier 3. So by killing that tier 2 then, even though it's only one of the tier 2s we killed, it does actually disable those jump pads so they can no longer use it. Which does suck. Like after you spent the whole game like using jump pads and you're like, no, you can't use it anymore. It's like, bruh, for real. Again, their jungle is just exactly the same as ours. Go all the camps. But yeah, just imagine if Severog comes here, you know, give them a few auto attacks and he's just like, bro, I'm gonna freaking kill you now. Like, okay. God, that dude's got a lot of stacks. For sure. We'll leave them to it. Alright, we'll back off. We're actually gonna get a green buff real quick, I guess. Why not? We're here, and then we'll back off and we'll see to end it. Like I say, I have got a few short videos up. I more wanted to do this video to give you an insight so you can actually get a feel for the gameplay. Obviously, we are against bots. So you don't really get a true insight into actual players, but it's to give you a proper look around. I do have a short video looking at the jungle more in depth and all of that. and also my top 5 changes to what's happening. One thing actually I have kind of forgot to talk about, which I should mention at the start, massively important, but I think it's a cool little change. So basically, when you actually are leveling up now, before it really used to annoy me, but some of the pro players I've been talking to, they don't really actually like it, which I don't really. It doesn't really make sense to me why they wouldn't like it. As it kind of feels, yeah. But so basically, we're on 26 points now, and before, if I wanted to buy an item, you need 3 card points. It's kind of like, well, you know, even if I got like even if I got 2/3 of my bar right now, you know, surely I've got enough points to actually, you know, at least have a point. As you can see, I now have 100% points. So before you'd have to level up, and you couldn't use that, even though you say if you had that there, we now have 200% points, and which is really cool. And before you never have that, you know, you'd have to get 3 points to actually before you could back. So now, you know, say if you're struggling, you may be able to get, or it potentially allows you to get these like 3 level strike 1 cards a lot earlier than before. And especially where you can throw them away and it doesn't actually cost you any points. It's something, you know, adds a whole different kind of strategy there. But I quite like it, you know. It kind of sucks, especially when you back, when you just missed out, but you're too low and you have to back, and then you can't buy anything because it's kind of like, well, it's fucking lame, really. You know, so you're at 4 points now, where before it would only be 3. So it's a nice little change in my books for that, which is cool. Jumps got little jump mechanics as well. You just blink away. Maybe you know, you just like blink away. Good. But yeah, Twin Blast is certainly looking really strong. Someone who's a bit weak, I think, is Sparrow. Like Murdoch and Twin Blast definitely seem to be the 2 big rangers at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what else they have coming out in the future, because the game is really lacking some more rangers at the moment, for sure. Good para. So yeah, we'll have a quick little look at gander around the map finally. Yeah, oh, I just can't believe the bots are doing freaking camps. That's crazy. I'm really amazed at these bots. It's shit on AP. Oh snap, son! I say the minions still do hurt, so something you want to keep in mind. I believe if we go over here, we look on this side. So not really too much going on here. Something, or I'm hoping that's something they actually do add in, because like before, when you actually looked out on the other map, you had like the whole waterfall. There was so much more to it. Like at the moment, it's just kind of like an empty kind of carcass. So kind of be cool if like there's like some thunderstorms going on or something in the background. Again, yeah, like. It always feels weird. I'm like, actually get out of the map. I broke it. I got out. But yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, it really needs to be something there. Even though it's like a waterfall going down there, because there's like water coming out here, which is pretty nice. But again, you know, kind of could be a little bit cooler, to be honest. Like we shouldn't really be able to walk through that. But it's little things, kind of nitpicking, which aren't, you know, causing any issues on the map. It'd just be nice once. For something to them to tweak and start adding, you know, more little bits and pieces, because the game is so glorious, so, you know, they can really make it look beautiful. And again, we picked up the invisible buff and just mana regen, man. I really can't hesitate, you know, if you're playing mid lane or jungle, to be focused on those buffs. They spawn every 2 minutes after 3 minutes, so you really want to be going for those, because they do make a big difference for sure. Alright, we'll go need to get this right turret down. Oh. Oh, just going for it. Oh yeah, bro. Oh god. Oh god. Have mercy, y'all. Yeah, for it. I don't know if I actually hit that was her damage. I'm pretty sure we kind of whipped that over. Alright, we're back off and then we'll finish the game. I think you guys have seen everything you need to see, but I'd love to know your boss's thoughts. Like I say, you guys will get to play it tomorrow. I've been very lucky that I've been able to play it in advance. And also I have the event later on today where I'm going to be playing for the UK team and representing, and we're going to be going against, I believe, France, and then potentially Spain or Germany in the finals. Or if we get through, or we could play in the third place. So, us Brits, man, we know how it's doing with the pro team, the dream team. The dream team, for sure. Alright. Cool. Woo! I just love that. I love it. It's so disappointing when you lose lose one of your tier 2s and you can't do it anymore. It really does actually suck some balls. I'll go get you, son. So yeah, as you guys can see there, you know, massive changes, especially to the jungle, and yeah, obviously the map layout, low travel speed, and the items. You know, the items are now changed regarding the power. Like they're all actually all the same now, which was all sort of a bit more too complex in this video on how that kind of works out. The amber links, you know, the removal harvesters, which I think is a bit. I'm a bit sad to see that. I really like the harvesters. What you used to have, 1, 2, 3, 6 harvesters, I believe, on each, or 6. You'd have 2 in your jungle, then 4, 2 on the outside, 5, 7. These 7 harvesters in total. I really like the harvester. I think they're a great mechanic, and you know, it's something that you wanted to be watching on and also denying from your opponent. Whilst this doesn't really feel like that. It feels like more of a dumbified version. Now, I think it's important, and obviously by farming, it helps out your teammates, which is nice. And that is what's good of the harvesters. You know, if your teammate's behind, if you're farming it well, your jungler's doing really good, you know, especially your jungler, because they get a lot more in the jungle, I believe. So the jungler's farming up well, you know, it does favour you, and you're going to get bonus XP and potentially get ahead of your opponents in that sense. But, you know, it's quite, you know, there isn't too much to it, you know, there is a little bit of counterplay, because you can go into the enemy jungle and empty theirs, but I don't think it's as effective as, say, you know, it's necessarily destroying the harvester like you previously could do, in my opinion. But, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it kind of helps, because I guess people always suck at putting harvesters down. One thing I do know is the base at the moment really does no damage. Like, sure, minions and pushing was always quite hard to defend against, but the base really does no damage, so you want to keep that in mind when defending, because people will just come and ram you down. Most games, like, we're pretty fed here because we're against bots. We haven't really been fighting, we've got a bit of farm. But, you know, most games around 25 minutes, you're not really getting too many more than 30, 40 card points already. You know, games do end a lot quicker. But, you know, it's the same thing as League. If a game of League was ended in 26 minutes, I wouldn't be expected to be full build. I'd probably maybe 3 or 4 items, obviously, depending on how fed you got throughout the game. Alright, we finally finished, I think, these bots. So we lost, so we've actually lost the turret. Steel, oh my god, steel. So yeah, they know, I was like, no, why? The steel on the left-hand side there, who's going for it, yo. Okay, you made a wrong decision now. That was my jump pad, bro. That was my jump pad, yo. He is going for it, right? No mercy, I like you. Never surrender, y'all. Good stuff. What a G. Hey, these bots, man, they know what's up. Yeah, I really don't know what the big ball's about. It's something interesting. Maybe, or I imagine something when it comes to the lore, it will come out. From what I believe, I'm not 100% sure if this is all official or true, is that Murdoch is like the space cop, and this is kind of like his prison. People are dueling there. I believe, and like Victor was a former convict or something. He's now like the prison guard, I believe, something around those lines. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but you know, it's probably gonna be some kind of backstory like that. And now I guess they fight, and Murdoch just sort of tosses himself off, gets so excited about it. But these turrets do hurt. That's something you want to keep in mind. The ulta doesn't. Like, the turret does more damage to you than the actual freaking inhib or the main core. GG bots. Oh snap, no. The wombo combo. The wombo combo is over though, the minions. The minions. Finish them. GG. So yeah, I hope you guys, this has been an interesting insight. You know, I wanted to kind of give you a rundown. I could talk about things a little bit more openly than obviously being cut up into little pieces, but obviously those videos will be maybe a bit more easier for you to watch. You know, I'd love to know what you guys think of the new map. If you enjoyed this video, I hope it has been useful. Like I said, you bosses are going to be able to get to play it next week. Not next week, that would really suck, wouldn't it? Get to play it tomorrow being Tuesday, so... You know, big hype there. Again, everything in the actual loadout is exactly the same on how it works. The only thing I have sort of noticed regarding your profile is you now have these kind of packs and loot crates, keys. Loot crates will be randomly acquired from a player and reward the rarest loot, including exclusive drops. So I guess that's regarding maybe like the skins, like the Christmas Winterfest skins. Maybe that's a way, because people complain that, you know, you have to watch Twitch and all that, or I have to go watch these YouTube videos and get the code. So maybe that's a way you get one. So you know, that's potentially interesting, and then obviously your card packs as well. So yeah, there we go, bosses. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've just really enjoyed playing over the map over the last week. It's been a lot of fun and put a bit of game time into it. And yeah, like I say, don't forget to check out my other videos. They go into depth if there's a couple of things you may be a bit uncertain about. But anyway, take it easy, guys, and have a great day. Peace. Maybe. Oh, bro. Oh, come on, do it. Yes. Kill him. I never wanted him to die before. Yes! Oh, he done it. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was fucking OP right there. Oh man, that's GG. And suck on my nipples all day long, bro. Oh,